Hello and welcome to Building Your Empire. My name is Dan Gentry and I'm going to be with you for the next 60 to 90 minutes and I'm going to be showing you my success system that I have used to build my successful life, that I'm working on to use to build my empire. But the cool thing is I'm going to be showing you how to build your empire without the stress killing you because we want the success just without the stress. Does that sound good to you? Awesome. I'm very excited to be giving you this information today. And now I don't know why you're here. You might be, a high achiever where you've already achieved a lot of success, but you're just looking for that extra edge or a way to make the life that you're living even better and more fulfilling. Or perhaps, you're overstressed. We all have so much going on these days. I think we can all agree that stress is a huge issue for just about everyone. And, maybe you're in a situation where you're in that sandwich generation where you still have kids, but you're also having to take care of your parents and you're getting kind of squeezed from both sides. So we want to try to get past that, reduce that stress level. Or maybe you just feel like you're missing out on the good stuff of life. Maybe you haven't had a real vacation in years, right? Uh, maybe you have to look at the pictures on your desk to remember what your kids look like. I know people like that. So I mean, I think we all want to have that better quality of life. And then, maybe you just have unrealized goals, or just you feel just a little bit off target. And I think we've all been there, where we're trying, we're doing stuff. We've kind of got our list of goals, but we're either not making them or making them halfway. It's just we're not there. We're not in the zone. And that's what I really want to help you find today, is how we can get you into that zone. And let's build your empire. Let's take the years of pain and suffering really that I've gone through, the lessons that I've learned, and help you can apply them to build your life and make your life better. That's that's my promise to you today, is that I'm going to help you find some ways to help build your empire and reduce your stress. So who am I anyway? Who is this Dan Gentry guy? Well, I am a farm boy from Dunellen, Florida. I grew up on a 250-acre farm out there, and being from that small town, I wanted to kind of get out and see the world. So I joined the Air Force. Go out and see the world. Well, they sent me to Omaha, Nebraska, and that was it. Now, Omaha is a great place. I found that, and I think you could probably agree with this, that you can be happy or miserable just about anywhere. And that was the case. It ended up being a great experience for me, but it wasn't the part of the world that I was super excited about. Now, I left the Air Force and I went into the corporate world and climbed that corporate ladder. I was doing very well for myself. Grew, and now I've I speak to people around the world about peak performance and maintaining life balance and creating that quality of life, having the success and the life too. And I mean, I'm incredibly busy. I run 4 different companies. I'm a husband and a father to 5 children. I do Cub Scouts. I do, advisory boards. I'm in Toastmasters. I've, lots and lots of different activities, and yet my life is not crazy, you know. So I want to be able to share that with you. But it wasn't always this way. The reason that I've gotten to this point is a little bit of history. So let me take you back 20 years ago, and I remember it clearly. I was sitting on the corner of my bed. Well, actually, bed is being nice. It was a mattress on the floor of my one-bedroom apartment. You know, no furniture, no anything. It was just not pretty. And I was sitting there just, bleh. My soon-to-be ex-wife and my daughter were hundreds of miles away. Uh, you know, I was never going to get to see my father again. the next day I was having to go and dissolve my 401k because my finances were in tatters. You know, it was the point. Even in that kind of thing, you're still trying to keep up appearances. I was so broke that, I would tell my friends, oh, yes, I'm having this wonderful Thai peanut pasta dish, noodle dish. And what I was really doing is adding peanut butter to ramen noodles. Pretty sad. Pretty sad. My entire life was shattered. Everything, every part of life was in shambles. And I remember sitting there on that bed going, how did I get here? How did this happen? Right? Well, for the answer to that, we need to go back. And it starts with the young executive. You know, I was in the corporate world, beginning in the corporate world, and I was doing well. I was moving up that ladder. And at this point, I was the director of internet technologies. I was important. Um, but I was also working 80, 90-hour work weeks. Uh, this was right around the time when the BlackBerry had just become a thing. We've gotten so used to it now. We're, uh, email all the time, right? In the phone right in our pocket. But back here, this was new. This was cool to be able to have email with you wherever you went. The problem was that email was with me wherever I went. And all times of the night. I would send my boss an email at 3 in the morning, and I'd have an answer at 3:05. He'd send me one at 4 in the morning, and he'd have an answer by 4:05. I mean, it was all the time, on constantly. And, that was the expectation, right? Well, I remember that when I had my epiphany that there was something wrong in the empire, uh, I went out to Denver, Colorado. This is kind of the view from downtown Denver. Beautiful, beautiful place. Now, I was in one of these buildings. I honestly don't remember which one now, but I was up on the 11th floor looking out over this skyline, and I came in. I did my own office, so they put me in this other office, on the little table in front of the windows, set up my laptop and start checking emails, the 300 to 400 emails that would come in that weren't worth waking up at 4 in the morning for. And I was like, I haven't even had coffee yet. So I went and got a cup of coffee. I walked back in the room and I stopped dead in my tracks, because here was this beautiful, wall to ceiling or floor to ceiling windows, wall to wall, was this view. I mean, it was actually nicer than the picture that you're seeing here. Crystal clear blue sky, snow-capped mountains in the distance, just gorgeous picture, and I hadn't seen it. I was so focused on work, on emails, on bleh, that I had not seen this picture perfect postcard of God's beauty on earth. And it hit me. I remember it hit me viscerally. I remember I closed my laptop, sat back, and I had my cup of coffee. And I really contemplated my life. And I realized that I was doing really well financially, business-wise, work-wise. I was important. People knew who I was. I was making good money. But the rest of my life was falling apart. My physical health was terrible. I mean, the stress was killing me. I was losing hair. I was overweight. Everything negative you can think of. My spiritual life was non-existent. My family was falling apart. I mean, I would see my daughter about 10 minutes a night. I left before she woke up in the morning. I'd get in right before she went to bed, put her to bed, and then kind of collapse. I didn't have energy to put into my marriage. No communication. That's, don't talk to me now. I need to de-stress from my work day. You know, it just everything that was really important was falling apart. And I realized at that point that I have to fix this. This can't keep going. It just can't. Life is gonna go bad, and I was right. I ran out of time because in a 3 month period, I divorce began. And in looking for the image to use for this slide, there was all of these like cute little broken heart things, and I saw this one. I'm like, yeah, it was jagged, it was ugly, and and disclaimer, it's jagged on both sides. I had more than my own share of the ugliness. We like to think that it's all just one person's fault. No, nope, I was there. Um, so ugly divorce began. A month later, I was laid off. I wasn't important anymore. That I went from having that six-figure income to having a three-figure income. Well, five if you count the cents. It made me feel better. But hey, if you've ever felt lonely and you really want somebody to call you, try starting to miss payments. Suddenly, there are people that want to talk to you all the time, and it's just not pretty. And then a month later, my father passed away. It's like boom, boom, boom. I remember I had a friend call me up and say, Dan, are you doing okay? If somebody's going through a divorce or gets laid off from their job or has a parent pass away, you worry about them, and you're doing all three. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. Now I like to use humor. That's kind of my coping mechanism. So, I would say things like, well, God will never test us beyond our capacity. I just wish he didn't trust me so much. So that was kind of the way that I dealt with it. But I realized, especially with my father passing away, that, life is short. He was young, and that you have to find how to have a great life, how to have purpose in life. And it really sent me on this quest, this search for how do you have an amazing life? You know, how do we overcome so much of what is expected of us? I mean, in looking back, the that pressure, that stress, that drive for business at all costs, it's kind of a societal pressure. It's what we're expected to do. It's what the world says, this, if you want to be successful, this is what you're supposed to do. And I realized that, that's not right. That's not the way that it needs to be. And so I went searching for, how do I solve this problem? How do I have the success? Because we need the success, right? I mean, we do. In today's world, if you don't have the material success, you've got issues, right? So how do I have that, but also have the life that's important? Because having that family bond is incredibly important, isn't it? And having that spiritual connection, all of these different pieces. And I'm a software developer. Software is my background, and what we do is we take complicated problems and we break it down into a systematized, repeatable process. And I'm like, I need to be able to do that with my life. And what came out of that process, the years of working and coming up, is my life triad system, where there's our foundation is life balance. Our framework that we build our life is our life map, our goals, and then that ultimate life legacy? What do we want to manifest out of our lives? What does our life mean? Right? And these are the building blocks for your successful life, for your empire, for what you want to create. Now, I have used this system myself to, for my beautiful family. I live what I call in my company life to the third power. I live my life. It's in balance. It's harmonious. It's happy. I'm able to go and do things with my boys. We can go to Epcot and Disney. We can do all of the wonderful things, and yet I'm still working on my companies. I've got, technology company. I've got my speaking company, on and on, and all of the different things that I'm doing, and yet I don't miss school events. I haven't missed an award ceremony, haven't missed a soccer game, haven't, all of these things. I am involved because that's, those are the priorities that I've put in place. And I've found the secrets to help make that happen. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So let's go into 3 of the secrets that I have for making this incredible life. Secret number 1 is how to have life balance by living life out of balance, just on purpose. Secret number 2 is how to set goals for real change and why so many goals fall short. And secret number 3 is how to find your life purpose with 3 questions. You ready to get started? Yeah, excited to find this out because I am super excited to tell you this is what I live for. This is what juices my life, that I get excited, is being able to share these kinds of things with you and with the world. So secret number 1, how to have life balance by living life out of balance on purpose. Okay? So this is the foundation of our empire, of our life, and we need that to be strong. If you want to build a grand structure, you need an amazing foundation, and that's what we're going to build here. There are some life balance myths that I want to talk about because they seem like they're true and we hear them, and yet it's not reality. The first is that work and life are separate concepts. It drives me crazy. I hear work-life balance. Like somehow your work isn't part of your life. I don't know about you, but work is part of my life. Would you agree with that? It absolutely is. We just have to figure out a way to make work integrate and be in harmony with all different parts of our lives so that we have that amazing fulfilled life. The second is that once you find balance, that you're done. That you just, here's my schedule, here's where I'm putting my attention, and that's, you're done. And that's just not the way it works. It's sort of like if you're driving, have you ever driving and let your hands off of the wheel for a second? Does the car just keep going right where it's supposed to? No. It goes a little bit off to one side or the other or what have you. You're constantly having to make adjustments. And that's what life balance is like too. You're constantly adjusting things back and forth. The other is that I need to wake up at 5 a.m. to make it all work. I don't know about you, but I like my sleep. I do. I sleep a good 7.5 hours a night on average, and I get done everything I need and more. But so many times we'll hear, well, I just need to wake up a little bit earlier to do such and such. And that's not, there are times where that's necessary, but it's definitely not the way that it should be. And the last is that I just need a better time management system. Well, time management helps. It does, but it all depends on what you're managing. If you're managing the wrong things, then time management's not going to help you at all. So we need to make sure that time management is critically important. We just need to make sure we're managing the right stuff. So when your life is not on purpose, life is stressful. It doesn't always have to be balanced, but it needs to always be on purpose. And so much of our our lives is, we feel like this guy here. We're juggling a million different things. I keep having to pick things up off of the floor. And I don't know about you, but for so much of my life, it felt like half the things I was juggling were on fire. It just there was always some fire going on somewhere. But when we have a our purpose set and our goals set, that really helps make things not stressful. We've got our systems in place, and it just makes everything work. And that's why I came up with my life balance triad. And you'll notice the same structure throughout my programs, the foundation, framework, and a manifestation. Our foundation of life balance is self-mastery, is really being in control of who we are as a person, right? The way overused analogy of the airline, put your oxygen mask on before helping others. That's the reality. We have to help ourselves and be in good shape ourselves before we can really help others. And then of course there's the relationships are interpersonal. That's really where the importance of life is. That's what's important. And then of course there's the material prosperity where we spend so much of our time, and yet in the grand scheme of things it's actually the least important. Now each of these kind of break down into their own triad, into their own three. So for self-mastery, the foundation is spiritual. Who are you really? What's your spiritual or philosophical foundation? What's the core of who you are? And that's what's going to really guide the rest of what we do and who we are. And then of course mental, your mind, your intellect and your emotions, having those under control and constantly learning and understanding yourself is hugely important. And of course the physical, the manifestation of our self-mastery. If you don't have the energy, if you don't have the vitality, there's no way that you can really get out there and do the energy to create that empire. I mean, the more energy you have, the better in shape you are, the more you have available to give out. I have people all the time. It's like, Dan, you do so much. How do you do that? I eat right and I exercise and I make my physical body a priority, right? And of course, for our relationships, the foundation is family, our family and close friends. These are the people that are closest to us that we need to make sure that we're nurturing, and that this is where our foundation of love comes from, right? And it's critically important that we nurture that we're taking care of that we put energy towards that. And then of course our friends, there have been so many studies done that show that people who have more friends and have better friendships actually live longer. And you're happier. It's just, this is the framework that we build our entire life on as our friends. And then others, that's the people we don't know. And this is making a difference in the world. How can we affect people that we don't know? It's part of the reason why I do what I do is, I'm wanting to make people's lives better. I want to make your life better. And I don't even know you yet. But that's what I want. I want to reach out and touch somebody that I don't know. For our material prosperity, the foundation is our finances, our financial education. And it's interesting, when we're in school, we got report cards. Report cards every 9 weeks, every semester, usually a progress report at 4.5 weeks. That's what my kids get now at middle school and elementary school. As adults, we do have report cards. I don't know if you've checked yours lately. Now, for good or ill, our report card as adults in this world is our financial statement. So how are you doing? Have you checked your grades? Because you don't want to get to be 50 years old, 60 years old and say, I ought to check my report card. Oh, I have an F in investing. That's bad. Because by then, it's too late to bring that grade up, if you know what I mean. So you need to be checking your grades, your financial statements, just like you did in school every 4 weeks, 9 weeks, that kind of thing. And then, of course, income. It's how we make our money. It's our business, our job, and we have to constantly be thinking, how can I improve this area? What can I do to make myself more valuable? And then the last one is expenses. Now, expenses is it's our stuff, right? And this is one that's always a biggie for me. And when I'm coaching people and teaching people about life balance, so many times we kind of forget this aspect of things because all of the stuff, all of the things that you own also own you. So every, your car, your house, your boat, the artwork on your wall, everything that you have takes energy. Your car, you have to clean it, you have to maintain it, you have to fuel it. You've got to paint your house, you've got to clean your house, you've got to clean things up, you've got to do all of the stuff that you have takes energy, time, and money. And this is one of the biggest pieces that people don't realize is a factor in life balance is taking care of all of the stuff that you have. So just something to think about. Something to think about. So what's this whole concept of living life off balance but on purpose? So many times when I talk to people and even myself for a long time, when I thought of life balance, it was like that the top line. It's just a flat line. You're walking the tightrope. You've got your hands out, just kind of going just right on across a flat line. Everything's in balance, right? That's the goal. That's not a reality. There, I have yet to meet anybody who is that perfectly balanced that their life is just yeah, no, it doesn't happen. The reality is that life is up and down and up and down and up and down. There are days when we have to work extra hours. There are, times when we don't have anything to do. There's ups, there's downs, and we all have that, right? There are days when you have to work, right? Life balance isn't static. It's dynamic. And so that's why we have to be in a harmony with our lives because we're always going to be out of balance one way or another. It's about knowing what your purpose is. It's about having your goals clearly defined and having your goals encompass all the areas of life balance. Because you're not ever going to be doing the same amount of effort, the same amount of energy and time into each of the 9 areas. You're just not. That's just not the way that it's going to work. But if you know that right now I'm spending a lot of time on my income, but you're not doing anything for friends and family, or you're not taking care of yourself physically. If you see any of these blocks, because you need all of these blocks in order to have that strong foundation, okay? So you need to be watching where am I putting my time and my energy to make sure that everything is getting covered, okay? That's what it's all about. It's about finding your purpose and your goals and making sure that all areas get covered. Now, I remember having a seminar, and I'd gotten done with up to this point, and we took a break. And a lady came up to me and goes, Dan, this sounds amazing. It's amazing material, but enough with the rainbows and Skittles. Okay, this sounds really nice. It sounds really fluffy. I live in the real world. I have deadlines. I have things I have to get done. Okay, how does all of this stuff work in the real world? How can you really make that balance work? And I'm like, I'm glad you asked. And that's, I teach many different processes and many different tips on how to actually take this concept into the real world. And I'm gonna share one with you now, if you want. You want me to? Okay, good. Uh, the first thing is I tell people to do multitasking. And the initial reaction is, wait, I thought multitasking was bad. I've heard that people can't do more than one thing at a time. You've heard that, right? Well, it's true. The reality of it is that we can't do multitasking very well. That constant switching between tasks ends up slowing us down, making us less efficient. So a better term for what I'm talking about is time concentration. And to give you an example of this, I do have a lot of different ones in my programs, is I like to work out. For my exercise, I do karate, Tung Sudo actually. And so that's my physical, I'm taking care of my body. Well, I'm also doing it with my family. My boys do it with me, right? So, we have something that we're doing together. We have something in common that we can talk about. It brings us closer together. So I've got family in there. Now, for me, I chose karate because of the mental and spiritual aspects of it. For me, having that hyper focus and having to really concentrate on what you're doing and ignore the distractions and become aware of everything around you that karate teaches, it's amazing for my concentration. It helps my mind grow. It's also for me a spiritual experience in a way. It's quieting everything out and focusing in. And I've made friends. Some of my best friends I've met through karate. And even the karate place does events for the community that I can help out with. So I'm helping others, people that I don't know, helping make the world a better place. And it's been great for business. I'm networking. I've met people. I've gotten clients because I met them through karate. So here's this one activity that I love to do that pulls in the spiritual, the mental, the physical. Let's go back. So I'm getting spiritual, mental, physical, family, friends, others, and finances and income in one activity. That's the power of time concentration. So I get a lot of value out of that 1 hour, right? Another quick one. I know we've got to go, but I do a lot of phone calls for my work. And I've got a really nice Bluetooth headset, and I go for walks around my neighborhood and do my phone calls. So I'm getting exercise and I'm doing work at the same time. Plus, when I have that phone call, you know the one I'm talking about, with that oh so fun client. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? We've all had those phone calls where it's just like, ah. Well, I'm outside. I can hang up, breathe deep, take in the beautiful outdoors, and just it helps me calm down. And all right, you know what? I'm ready to move on and go to the next call. So that's one thing where I'm taking the one activity of working and I'm pulling in other aspects of life balance. And so approaching all of your tasks and all of your things with how can I pull in other parts of my life into this and live your life more fully. That's really what we're after. So that's secret number one. It's how to have life balance by living life out of balance on purpose. Pretty cool, huh? Would you agree with that? Pretty good information. Are you ready for secret number two? All right, let's move on. Now we're in secret number two, how to set goals for real change and why many goals fall short. We're talking about the life map is what this really boils down to, is what's the map of your life? This is the framework block for our empire. It's the blueprint for how we want things to be. So we need to know where we're going, right? We need to know how to get there most directly. And that's what the life map is really all about. Because when you don't have a clear life map, you end up lost. You end up on a bridge like this. And in life, a bridge like that is disaster. Okay? So we have our life map triad, and the foundation of this is really it's defining what do we want, right? And so many times, so many people that I run into, they've lost the ability to dream. And we want things. We want a better life, right? We need to find a way to break the shackles of what's expected, what society says we should be, and be more. And we need to define that. We need to define those dreams and those goals. And then to refine them. How do we take those dreams and goals and how do we make them reality? So let's build our framework. Is what steps do we need to take? What do we need to do? Who can help us with that? How do we make this really happen in our lives? And then the last step, which is where so many times it falls down here, is execute. Actually do those things. This is really, it's not rocket science. It's really straightforward. Define what we want, refine it, break it down into steps, and then do them. And yet, I'm sure that everybody that's listening to me right now, we have done this process. We've defined what we wanted. We set that date, right, that we want it done by. We figure out here are the steps we need to do. We kind of start, and then nothing happens. We've all been there, haven't we? I know I have. Many, way too many times for me to admit. So it seems like we fail partially or even completely. But why? Why do we fail? It seems ridiculous because there are some people that they get in there, they get it done, and they do it, and they do it, and they do it, and it's like we're not getting traction here. Why? So why do we fail? For me, there are two primary reasons why goals don't go the way we want them to, why we fail in those. The first is our goal is not clearly defined enough. We'll say something like, I want a car. All right. Who here thinks that this goal could be a little bit better in focus? Yes? Yeah, okay, that's car-ish, maybe, right? So that just saying I want a new car, not nearly defined enough. And say, well, I think I'd like a Mercedes. Okay, that's better. We're getting a little bit more clearly defined, but I don't feel it yet, right? It's just, I'd like a nice car, something high end. No. If we can get to the point where we can see it, where we can feel the way that the steering wheel feels, the leather of the steering wheel, the way the seats creak when you sit in them, and the smell of the leather, and you can hear the engine just purring like a cat, right? You can just the whole experience when you can taste it, you can smell it, you can feel it, and you know what color you want. That point, that's when a goal has a real chance of becoming reality. When you know why you want it, you know what you want clearly. That's where you have a real chance to be able to achieve that. And the second and the much more important reason why most people's goals don't go the way they planned is that we are systems. We are not in isolation. So any decision that we make, any goal that we set is not just us. There are ripples that flow out from that, like, drops in a pond. And doubly so for, any decision does that, but doubly so for setting goals. You know, we decide that we want to make a change. Let's use losing weight as a perfect example. We decide we're going to lose weight and exercise more, right? The problem is that it's not just us that we're making that decision for, right? For me, I've wanted to change the way that I ate. Well, the problem is I have a family. There's a whole group of people that eat based on me, right? Who do I interact with? The family menu is affected. My lunch at work is affected. Anytime we eat out is affected. The snacks at meetings that you may or may not be able to eat is affected. Oh, donut day. Right? Where do you go for a business lunch? I mean, that's one little thing of saying, I want to eat better. And look at all these different pieces that are affected by that, right? So if we don't plan, if we don't prepare for those, each of those little things is trying to push us back into our old pattern. So that's why I say we're systems. We're like a child's baby mobile, where you mess with one piece and now the whole thing's out of balance, and it's going to take a while for it to find equilibrium again. So when you make a decision, you've got to look at what are all of the things that are going to be affected by that, and how to prepare for that. Them trying to nudge you back into your routine. Because they're not trying to to be to sabotage you, right? But they're just trying to get you back to where you were, and we have to overcome that inertia. So that's where, in my goal setting, we talk about, not only what do you want, but what are all of the things that are affected by this decision, and how do we make plans for those? How do we prepare for that so that we are in the best place to make sure that we achieve these goals? So that's, we need to set our goals, refine, define, and execute. And we need to make sure that we're planning for the inevitable pushback from the universe, because we're changing our orbit, we're changing what we're doing, and the world's going to try to get us back to that old pattern. So we need to prepare for that. Make sense? This sound good so far? You still with me? All right, excellent. So let's move on to secret number 3. It's how to find your life purpose with 3 questions. And again, I talked about it in the life balance section and in the goals as well. Your purpose really is going to define where your goals are headed, and helps you define your life balance. So again, this is with the life legacy. This is the capstone of our empire. This is what life is really all about. Because life without that clear purpose is really, meaningless. So many of us we're in that kind of that rat race. We got lots of activity, but we're not really going anywhere. And we can achieve things. We can get stuff. It's like getting raised, praised, and promoted, and life actually means less, not more. You're like, is this all there is? I've got the car, I've got the house, I've got the golf clubs, I've got the fancy vacation, yet I'm a miserable wretch. It's just, when you get your life legacy and your purpose really lined up, you're going to get the raised, praised, and promoted, and life's going to be more. Life only gets sweeter, and things really start to fall into place. And you have that increased sense of happiness and significance and joy in everything you do. And even when the crap that you have to go through in life that is always going to show up, when you have that purpose in life, it's okay because it's so much easier to get through the negative stuff of life when you've got that strong purpose behind you. And that's what I want to help you define. So our first question is, how do you define ultimate success? That's a much more difficult question than it sounds like. So how do you define ultimate success in each of your areas of life? Because you know, usually we're pretty good with having goals for our income, how much money we want to have in the bank, what kind of stuff we want to have, what kind of house, what kind of car. So the material prosperity is usually pretty easy in the success thing. Although I would say that defining ultimate success, what does it really look like, can be a slightly different creature. But more often than not, we haven't thought about what does ultimate success in our spiritual life look like? What is ultimate success in our mental life? Physical body, that one's common too. We usually have a pretty good idea what we want to do with our physical life. Not necessarily doing it, but we've got a good idea what success looks like. But what does success look like for your family, for your friends, for making a difference in the world? So come up with what really is ultimate success for you. And this process for most of my coaching clients usually takes a couple of weeks to really do. It's not something you can answer flippantly. It takes some time. But going through that process is transformational. It really is. So that's the first question. How do you define ultimate success? The second is, what is your gift? Because we all have one. We all have something that is uniquely ours that we can give to the world, that we can do for our clients, that we can do for our family. What is your gift? What are you here for? Right? And we all have something special, don't we? I believe that inside of you there is a gift that the world is desperately in need of. And we have to spend some time finding out what is our gift. What makes us special? Right? Because we are all special. Now, the last question is, how are you making the world better? I remember I had a guidance counselor in middle school, 6th grade, pulled me aside one day and he goes, Dan, what do you think the world owes you? And I was like 12, 13. I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, the world doesn't owe you anything. The reality of it is you were given the gift. You were brought into this world. You were given life. It is now your responsibility to make the world a better place because of that. The world doesn't owe you anything. You owe the world. And I remember the profound impact that had on me. I wish to this day that I could remember his name so I could go and say thank you one more time, because that changed my life. And I want to ask you this. What does the world owe you? And I can tell you, it doesn't owe you anything. The reality of it is we are here and we need to make the world a better place. For me, I'm doing it by sharing this message, by sharing what I do. I do it with scouts. I do it in my community. But how do you make the world better? And how can you increase that? How can you use your gifts? How can your ultimate successes make the world a better place? And when you get that answer, that becomes your purpose. Because we're all here to make the world a better place. I firmly believe that. That is what makes us amazing people. So that's the end of our third secret, how to find your life purpose with just 3 questions. I didn't say they were easy questions. Now, let me ask you a question. How many kind of feel like this right now? It's like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much information coming in. It's just, oh, this is good, but can you slow down for a little bit? And the reality of it is that there's so much more. I've held back so much. Just I want to keep going and sharing. Just there's not enough time. There's just not enough time. So I want to ask you now that I've put together a program so that we can continue this conversation. It's not free. I'm offering my expertise. So I want to get your permission to share this program with you. If not, that's okay. You can go ahead and disconnect now. It won't hurt my feelings. But if you're interested to continue this conversation, to find out more about the systems that I teach, please keep listening. So I want to introduce my Future Mastery coaching program. This is, something that's taken me 20 years of pain, struggle, work, blood, sweat, and tears, to put together a system that can really make a difference in people's lives. We tie together the foundation. We build that strong foundation of life balance and going through all the different areas of that. We're going to create a true plan of your life and create that map for you so you don't have to wander aimlessly or take the long road to get to your success. I want to shortcut that for you so that we can get there quicker and more easily. So we're going to go through all of the life maps. And then, of course, the life legacy, help create that purpose, help you define who you really are and what you really want out of life. So the full life transformation that is possible through my Life Triad program. Now, the Future Mastery coaching program is it's a virtual coaching. Essentially, it's a step-by-step program. It's proven, it's repeatable, it's reliable. We're going to help give you the clarity that you need, where to focus your attention. We're going to help get you that momentum so that you're moving in the right direction. We're going to give you the skills that you need, the accountability, most importantly, the mentoring to help grow that. And nothing is left out. Nothing is assumed. I start at the beginning and I take it on through. I'm not assuming that any extra stuff. I'm going to help you through every step of the way. So we have weekly sessions. You're going to get a video guide that is me giving you a lesson. Have our weekly session. There's going to be an assignment that I will be reviewing. I look at the answers that you're giving, and no, it's not a test. It's feedback, and how are you doing on different things, and I give you feedback on that to make sure that we're on the right track, when to make adjustments. Okay, you get full access to me via email. You're going to get guidance on the lessons if you need any advice, and all emails are personally answered by me. It's not some virtual assistant somewhere. It's really me. Okay. Now, the Future Mastery coaching program, it is really $35.97. It's $300 a month, right? Well, that's not all, because what else do you need in order to make something like this work? Well, you need community, right? You need some people that are on that journey with you. So also included in this offer today is the Catalyst League. This is a group that I started of like-minded people like yourself, like myself, and we have an online mastermind group. We have a closed Facebook group that where you've got the benefit of having a community of like-minded high achievers, right? We get to brainstorm ideas and strategies, and we give honest feedback and and supportive feedback on different ideas. And there's also a monthly live call where I get on the phone, usually do a little lesson, and then we actually talk and kind of a group. We have question and answers. We can get recognition for successes. It's a really great place to get together on the phone live and really build that community and add on to that. Now, normally for my Catalyst League, it's a couple $100 a month, but as part of this, you're getting included in here. Okay. Now, I know that there are some people that I have helped, with my programs. Ryan Lilly, the Vice President of Business Creation, he said that the My Life Triad system is one of the most powerful development tools he's ever come across, and I delivered real results and an amazing return on his investment. And Dr. Brooke, owner of Drive Chiropractic, that her life has drastically changed since she started working with me. She's been able to make better decisions and focus her energy in a positive direction and really begin developing plans for the future. And she's seen her business go from kind of just propping it up, which I think we've probably all been there before, to now she's seeing continued growth each month. It's amazing to watch the transformation. And so I'm thinking, for what other things do you need to make that same transformation for you? Well, how about some tools? One of the things that's going to be included here is the Life Triad GPS for navigating your life map. It's a guide for powerful success. In this, you have that life legacy builder and goal setting and brainstorming pieces. So everything that you need to really make the life map triad work for you. There's also daily success sheets. So you can talk, do your journaling in the morning. How are we doing on each day? How was my day? Look at the emotional energy tracker. All these things that I haven't even gone into yet with you. But there's all of this and more. Now, I'm also going to be including my book, 99 Steps Towards Life Balance, that I published last year. This will be included in the package. So again, we're looking at the Future Mastery Coaching Program, $35.97 value. The Catalyst League, $24.97. The Guide to Powerful Success and the book 99 Steps Towards Life Balance. We're talking about a total value of $6,611. Right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to charge you near that amount. All right. But let me ask you this. If all of this did was finally get you past the shoulds, I should do this, I should do that, and makes even some of your goals a reality, would it not be worth it, $6,000 to make your goals a reality, to build that empire? If all this did was reduce your stress levels and showed you how to have that more balanced, more fulfilled, amazing life, if it helped improve your marriage, and if it helped just make your life better, $6,000, would it not be worth it at that point? And if it helped you find your true purpose, that true North Star for your life, would it not be worth $6,000 to find that, right? Well, when I was creating this program, I really had two choices. The first option was just to go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many of these as possible, but it really wouldn't make me want to stack on the value. I wouldn't be able to keep doing it. My other choice was to require a little bit higher investment, but in exchange, I can devote more resources to you, and be able to spend much more time, responding to emails and really giving you that personalized feedback. So what's it worth to you? What's it worth to be one step closer to building your empire? Are you talking, $10,000, $50,000 increase in income? If you boost your business or get that raise, does that make a difference? How about increased physical vitality? Finally achieving those goals to lose weight and to really have that amazing body, how much would you pay to get one step closer to building that empire? Well, you can see why this would be a good deal even at 4,000. Pretty soon we're going to be offering it to the general public probably for 1997, but because you are special, you can get started now for just 997. Okay? So you go to futuremastery.com/go, or if you're watching this, write the button right below for enroll now, and we will get you started. Now, you do have a couple of options here. Option one is do nothing, and not take this leap of faith. It's 100% risk-free, right? And, it still will get you, you can still kind of get where you're going. Or you can do option two, which is much better. Pony up this small investment today, compared to all the value that you're getting in return, and just give it a shot. Just try it. I have a 30-day guarantee. You sign up today. If you don't like it for any reason, and I don't care if it's 29 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes from now, just let me know and I'll give you your money back. That is if I'm not making a difference in your life, then I don't deserve your money. So I'm perfectly okay with that. So what you're going to get: the Future Mastery Coaching Program, the Catalyst League Access, the Guide to Powerful Success, and the 99 Steps Towards Life Balance, a total value of $6,611, all for $997. Now you get started now. This is the page, what it's going to look like. When you go there, you put in your information. Now, also something for those of you that maybe $997 is a bit of an issue, then you can go. PayPal has a thing that they've partnered with that you can get 6 months, no payments and no interest if paid within 6 months. Okay, when you check out, you choose the PayPal credit and you can apply through there. It does require that you get a line of credit, that you have a good credit score, and it's U.S. customers only, but it's an option for you if you need it. So again, what you need to do, what you're going to get is the Future Mastery Coaching Program, the Catalyst League, the Guide to Powerful Success, the 99 Steps Towards Life Balance, all for $997 today. Please, go click the button below, apply, and I look forward to seeing you and working with you to help make your dreams come true and to truly build your empire.